Hi everyone, Mike here from BikesbyMike with another cycling related video. Today I'm going to guide you through the process of how to maintain your Wahoo Kickr Bike to keep it running smoothly and looking great. While I'm talking to you here upstairs, I'll be doing all the work in my garage. Hopefully you find this video useful, as I had to haul this 42 kilo beast into my garage to film the video and nearly punched a hole in my basement closet door. Okay, let's get to it. We're starting to get cold and wet weather here in Toronto, which means the indoor training season is just starting. So now is a really good time for me to tune up my Wahoo Kickr Bike so it's ready for the indoor cycling season. And while I'd really prefer to spend less time on this bike and more time on this one and less time doing this. Oh, wait, that wasn't me that crashed, that was Norm. If you live pretty much anywhere in Canada, it's often just easier and more comfortable to train indoors. Plus, Rivi has added a few new features to its cycling apps since last season, so I'm excited to try them out. In this video, I'll show you how to perform every maintenance task recommended by Wahoo for the Kickr Bike. Each of these tasks is recommended to be done periodically or after you've clocked a certain amount of mileage. For me, I've owned this bike for just under 2 years and I really haven't maintained it except for changing up the bar tape and keeping it clean. So I'll be going through every single maintenance task recommended by Wahoo, including the least frequent ones that only need to be done yearly or after 384 hours of bike use. I'd say there are 4 smart indoor bikes on the market today that are by far the most popular. My bike, the Wahoo Kickr, the Wattbike Atom, the Stages Bike SB20, and the Tacx Neo Bike. Of the 4 bikes, Wahoo Kickr requires the most maintenance of the 4, so it makes sense to do a maintenance demo on it. The reason it needs more maintenance is that it has more moving parts than the others. It has lateral side-by-side flex as well as vertical movement with its grade simulation technology. Those features are must-haves for me as they make the indoor experience more like real outdoor riding. So I'm not bothered that I have to maintain this bike a bit more than the others. But if you do have the Wattbike, Stages, or Tacx Neo, go straight to the end of my video where I quickly summarize each manufacturer's recommended service schedule. I've included timestamps in the description below. Quite frankly, the maintenance for these other bikes is so simple, they really don't need their own video. Okay, so I've broken this video into 4 parts. In part 1, I'll show you how to perform all the preventative maintenance recommended by Wahoo. In part 2, I'll talk about the bottom bracket replacement. Not something that Wahoo mentions themselves, but it is something that if you own a bike long enough, it'll eventually wear out and have to be replaced. While I won't show you how to replace it in this video, I will give you the information you need should you want to do it yourself. Part 3 are my own tips and tricks for protecting your bike and keeping it running smoothly. Lastly, in part 4, I'll show you the recommended service schedule for the Wattbike, Stages SB20, and the Tacx Neo spin bikes. So here now is how to perform each of the maintenance tasks. Let's start with the one that you should be doing most often after every ride. That's giving your bike a good wipe down to remove all the sweat you leave behind. The salt in your sweat is corrosive and really hard on metals and electronics. Grab 2 hand towels or 2 microfiber cloths like I have here. One of them I've dampened and added a touch of soap to it. The other one is dry. All you're going to do is wipe down and clean all the parts of the bike that get sweaty. So use your wet cloth to clean the bike and the dry cloth to remove any moisture. There's no set way to do this, but I like starting at the top of the bike and working downwards. I start by wiping down the saddle and seat posts first. Then I wipe down the top tube as well as both sides of the down tube. Once these areas are done, I move to the handlebars and levers and give them a good wipe down. You want to be careful here not to snag the shifter cables. Next, give the plastic drivetrain cover a quick wipe on both sides and dry it off. This part doesn't get that sweaty, so no need to spend too much time on it. Lastly, wipe down the rear stabilizer legs as well as the front base legs. Now we are on to 2 things you need to do monthly or after every 32 hours of use, whichever comes first. First, let's check to make sure the bike is still sitting level on the stabilizer legs. If it's not level, then you want to carefully tilt the bike upwards or place it on its side. Loosen one of the leveling feet lock rings and adjust the height to the point where the bike will sit level. Retighten the lock ring. Place the bike upright to make sure it's sitting level. Next, you want to grab an alcohol wipe or dampen a small piece of paper towel with rubbing alcohol. Detach the shifter cables at the LED display box and clean each of the male cable jacks with rubbing alcohol. Reinsert the cables when done. Let's now check the crank for tightness to make sure there's no play in the crank arms. This you're supposed to do 4 times a year or every 96 hours of use. The crank assembly has 2 pinch bolts and 1 fixing bolt. The fixing bolt basically acts as a preload adjuster. Using a 5mm Allen wrench, start off by loosening, but not removing, each of the 2 pinch bolts. Once that is done, tighten the fixing bolt to no more than 3 Nm of force to adjust the preload. That won't feel very tight, just enough to take the play out of the crank arm. Then you want to retighten the 2 pinch bolts with your 5mm Allen wrench and finish it off by torquing each of the 2 bolts to a maximum of 15 Nm of force. There are 2 maintenance tasks that you should perform 3 times a year or every 128 hours of use. The first one is to grease the lower frame rails. This is one task I highly recommend, particularly if your frame is starting to make creaking sounds. I had this problem about 2 months into using my Kickr. All that was needed was to re-grease the lower frame rails, as I'll show you now. Start by releasing the standover height adjustment knob and locking lever. Lift the frame to its highest setting. Now grab a multi-purpose bicycle lube and apply it to both sides of the inner frame rail. Pretty much any lube will work fine here as long as it's quite thick. Spread the grease evenly over the surface. Then raise and lower the frame rails to the highest and lowest position a few times to evenly distribute the grease. Return the frame rail to its original setting and you're done. Now check the torque on all 10 of the leg mounting bolts. Position the bike so that you can access the bottom. Now torque all bolts to a maximum 26 Nm of force. These bolts should all be rock solid tight. Okay, moving on. We're almost halfway done. The next 3 tasks you should do 2 times a year or after every 192 hours of use. The first one is to check the torque on the handlebar stem bolts. All 4 should be fastened with a 4mm Allen wrench to no more than 6 Nm of force. When working on stem bolts, it's best to tighten them in a diagonal pattern. Next, you'll want to use a vacuum to remove the dust and debris from the motor vent cover. You don't need to remove the cover, just vacuum it as best you can from the outside. The third and final task is to re-lube the linear actuator bottom bolts and washers. Simply spray the bolt and washer area with a good quality lubricating silicone spray or other aerosol lubricant. Wipe off any overspray. We're almost done. The following 5 tasks are done yearly or after every 384 hours of use. The first one is to replace the handlebar tape if worn. This really should be done whenever it's needed and not on any particular schedule. My tape is still in good shape, so I won't replace it. If you want to see the method for replacing bar tape, check out the video I did on this. I've included a link in the description below. Now we'll grease the seat tube and the handlebar stem. Make sure to note the height settings on each of these so that you can reassemble them back to their original positions. Starting with the seat tube, loosen the quick release lever and remove the seat post. Wipe off the old lubricant with a rag or paper towel. Now apply a thin coat of assembly compound, or you can use an all-purpose bicycle grease. Reinsert the seat post, make sure the saddle is at the proper height, and tighten the quick release lever. Now go through the same process with a handlebar stem. My preference is to use carbon fiber paste as it's great at preventing slippage, but anything you use will be better than no grease at all. If the contact area is too dry, you'll definitely hear creaking. Check that all the adjustment levers and quick release clamps are working correctly and not worn or seized. If anything is damaged, replace it as necessary. Next, check to make sure that none of the 14 screws that hold the plastic cover in place are loose. The Wahoo manual mentions to use a 2mm Allen wrench, but it's actually a 2.5mm that is required. Don't over tighten these screws. Just lightly hand tighten is fine. Okay, the very last thing we need to do is check the saddle clamp bolts. Grab your torque wrench and make sure all 4 bolts are tightened to no more than 6 Newton meters of force. And that is it. That covers off all the maintenance tasks recommended by Wahoo. Wahoo does not recommend any servicing to keep the bottom bracket in good working order. And since the bike won't be exposed to the elements and won't get dirty, you can expect the bearings in the bottom bracket to last a really long time. But if you own a bike, any bike, long enough, the bottom bracket will eventually need to be replaced. The good news is that the Wahoo Kickr uses a common road BB. The BSA with threaded cups, which has a 68-70mm shell width and a 34mm inside diameter designed to fit 24mm through axle cranks. These are commonly found on Shimano, FSA, Rotors, and others. There are lots of companies that make compatible bottom brackets, but here's an example of the Shimano version. I'm not going to demo how to replace the bottom brackets, as it's not something you're likely going to need to do anytime soon. But if it does fail, I'd suggest you contact your local Wahoo distributor to see if it's covered under warranty or if they have a cheap fix. If it's not under warranty and you want to replace the bottom bracket yourself, I'll include a link in the description to a bike fitness coaching video which shows you the whole process from start to end. Having used the Wahoo Kickr for a couple years, there are just 2 modifications I've made myself. The first is useful for anyone that has their Kickr sitting on a carpeted floor. I found that I could not extend the leveling feet far enough to prevent the base of the Kickr seat frame rail from taking up all the bike load. So the bike was pivoting on the base and I could feel it shifting from side to side. The simple solution is to raise each of the 2 stabilizer legs by about 2 centimeters or 1 inch, so that the way the bike is supported by the rear stabilizer legs and leveling feet. You can prop the legs up with a piece of wood, but I found a set of 4 piano caster cups on Amazon, which works really well. Now the bike sits solidly on the floor, even when cushioned by the carpet and a spin mat. The second modification I've made is to add frame protective film to the top tube and down tube of the Kickr. The salt in your sweat is corrosive, so this is a good way to protect the frame and paint and keep it looking like new. You can use any available on the market, but the one I use, which is very good, is the 3M Scotchgard Series Paint Protective Film. I bought a large roll of this and I use it on my mountain bike and fat bike as well. Okay, now on to the last part of this video. All the bike maintenance up until this point has applied only to the Wahoo Kickr. But since maintaining the other 3 spin bikes is so easy, I thought I'd quickly show you their maintenance schedules if you happen to have one of those. By the way, I've included links in the video description to all 4 maintenance manuals, as well as the vinyl wrap and piano caster cups. Check it out. So that's pretty much it. Everything you need to know to maintain your Wahoo Kickr bike and keep it running smoothly and silently. If I missed something or you have a good maintenance hack I haven't mentioned, please comment below. That's all I got for today, folks. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, as it allows me to produce more content for all of you. See you next time. Happy rolling.